Hello to all my Facebook people and all my YouTubers out there, and welcome to the segment of the Fearless Friday Chat, spreading love and kindness to your children. My name is LK Scott, and I'm so super excited for this segment. I am ready to get into this. I cannot wait till I see everybody in the chat. I want somebody in the chat to say hello so I can know that you are here and live with me, Mr. Kevin and Miss Hickam in the building. Matter of fact, her name is Delvanique today. Her name is Dale today. Okay, so we need to get that informal. We need to be informal today. It is Dale today. So my name is LK Scott. Like I said, welcome to the Scariest Fearless Woman, the Fearless Friday Chat. We are here and we are live. Make sure you like, comment, and also share this. Be sure to tell somebody because they might get these gems, these golden nuggets, and dip them with Chick-fil-A sauce. I am excited. Okay, so let me go ahead and introduce the peoples. My first queen here, she is a elementary school counselor. She is phenomenal when it comes to making sure and ensuring that children come first and they are our first priorities. She is also part of the Hickam House. Please welcome Miss Delvanique Hickam. Yay! That's what I need to hear it. Y'all can go ahead and unmute your mics now. Y'all go ahead and unmute your mics. Go ahead.
Hello.
Our next king, who is in the building. I met him when I was working at a middle school, and this man stopped me and was like, "What you doing with your life?" And I was looking at him and I was like, "What are you talking about?" He was like, "You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing." And I was like, okay. And I paused, but I understand now. It took me years to understand why he said what he said. He is a mentor. He has a podcast called Fatherhood with him and along with other people who are fathers. He is such a phenomenal person. Please give it up for Mr. Kevin, the mentoring coach.
Woo! What up?
So how are you guys doing today?
Blessed and highly favored. Man. I am great. Things are looking up.
Definitely. If you could tell me the highlight of your day today, what was the highlight of your day?
For me, the highlight of my day, me and my husband have started the process of building our new home. So that was great for us today.
That is some gains. To build a home from the ground up, that is gains there. And I just want to say I'm very proud of you. Very proud of you.
Thank you.
Somebody's echoing. I don't know who's echoing, but somebody's echoing. So then turn the thing down. Or it's probably my husband who needs to turn his stuff down. I don't know who it is. Mr. Kevin, the highlight of your day. What is the highlight of your day?
Man, the highlight of my day. The highlight of my day is actually, it was yesterday. Can I be real? The highlight of my day yesterday, my little girl has started a new journey in theater at Casa Miana. So she's taking classes at Casa Miana and she's really excited. And so it's been a pandemic. So we haven't been to dance. We haven't been to, all of the other things we would do to keep normalcy going. And so this is one of the first opportunities that she'll get to reconnect in her field that she loves to do. So yesterday was a big moment for us, and we're excited to see where her theater dreams take her.
I love it. I love it how you're investing in your child. That's beautiful. And she's gonna be a Casa kid. Please let me know when she does her performances. I would love to support. I love supporting children who desire to do acting. Emily Smith said that's goals. Good for you. Guys, if you are here today, tell me what was the highlight of you guys' day. I like to interact with my audience here. So please put in the chat. What was the highlight of you guys' day? Before we get into our game, want to give a shout out to the Scariest Fearless Woman group. When I say that you guys are phenomenal, y'all keep putting in that positive vibes. Y'all keep that energy up. Shout out to all the members of the Scariest Fearless Woman. Right now, we are at 950 members, and when I say that is a blessing in disguise, it is a blessing in disguise for me, because I know that it's not about me. So we're almost close to 1K, and I pray that God just does this thing and do it well, because it's not about me, it's about you guys. I also want to give a shout out to Miss Martasia James. Miss Martasia James is running for city council for District 5. So if you guys would love to support her, please go support her. Go to her website and support her, please. Miss Tiffany said, "Awesome, keep up the great work. Thank you so much." And then Miss Emily said, "Nice to get some normalcy." Yes, it is real nice to get some normalcy. And she said, "My friend comes over for his first sleepover ever." Oh my gosh! When I tell you, they're gonna be so happy to have that. They're gonna be so happy. Okay, guys, are you ready for today?
Yes, let's go.
Okay, so this is the rules, okay?
Okay.
So, audience, if you are in the virtual audience, if they need help, they're gonna say, "I need a lifeline. Help me." But you only get 2.
Oh.
You only get 2 lifelines, okay? You only get 2. Are you guys ready?
Okay. All right, Kevin, we got that eye contact. Be my third lifeline.
Yes. Okay, here we go. It's called Riddle Me This. Do y'all like riddles? Y'all like riddles?
Let's go.
Okay, here we go. I have no life, but I can die. What am I?
I have no life, but I can die.
I have no life, but I can die. I will give you a hint. You use them on a consistent basis in your remote.
Batteries? Wait, no.
Ding, 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 ding. You got it correct. Yes. Yes, I have no life, but I can die. Are you being a hater, Mr. Kevin, because you didn't get it? Okay, here we go. Next one. When the water comes down, when it rains, I go up. What am I?
Evaporation.
You said what?
Evaporation.
Evaporation?
When the water comes down, come up. Worms?
Y'all need a lifeline?
Yeah, lifeline.
Okay. I need y'all a lifeline, and I need you to help my peoples here. But the question is, when the water comes down, when it rains, I go up. What am I? I give them 10 seconds. 9.
Humidity? Is it humidity? No.
8. 7.
Spiders.
Not spiders.
Emily.
6.
Emily Smith says spiders.
5. 4. 3. 2. 1. It is an umbrella.
Oh, man.
That's a good one.
If y'all go ahead to ask people that, ask them when y'all get off, ask people these questions who didn't see it, okay? They're gonna be like, "What?"
Yeah, the umbrella. That one got me.
That was a good one, though.
Yeah, you got 2 more, okay? You can break me easily without even touching me or seeing me. What am I? I will give you a hint. It's something you should never do.
Your spirit?
That was a good one. It's close.
I was gonna say your heart.
Confidence?
A promise. You can break me easily without even touching me or seeing me. I promise. Okay, now y'all should get this one. Okay, I promise you. I made it easy. I made an easy one. Somebody said, Tiffany said feelings. That is a good one. You can easily touch without touching your CV. Feelings. That is a good one. I will add that. Okay. Last question. I am a beer, yet kids can drink me and not get drunk. What am I?
Root beer.
You got it. That is correct.
We need a tiebreaker.
Oh, we need a tiebreaker. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Okay, so I'm just gonna make up something. Okay. I'm gonna ask a trivia question. Okay.
Okay. You know I'm competitive.
I know you are. Okay. There are 3 TV shows that I really love. Okay, and you got to actually guess which TV show that I love the most. Martin, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, or Living Single.
Living Single.
And why do you say Living Single?
Who didn't love Living Single?
I was gonna go with Living Single, but I get Martin vibes sometimes.
Okay.
You know, little jokey joke here. I know Living Single's for the culture, but you know, Martin has that little hidden gem. So I'm gonna go with Martin.
You know, if I were a living single character, who do you think I would be?
Ooh.
Oh, the Shopaholic.
Regine.
No, I don't have bougie vibes. Bougie vibes? Wow. But I do love to shop. Like that is I love to shop. But I would say I'm more so of a Maxine, you know. I used to be I was a horrible Maxine, you know, back in my days. Thank you, God, for another change. But I was Maxine, okay? But Miss Hickam, you're right. I am a Martin. I love me some Martin. I love me some Martin. You know, I can always laugh anytime an episode comes on. Where'd Mr. Kevin go?
All right, Kevin, now you got to come back. You can't get
Was
mad.
he being a hater? So I'm the only male here. Oh, there he goes. He's back.
Okay.
He's back. Let me put him back on the stream. I was like, where'd he go? Here we go. He is back on the
All right,
stream.
Kevin, I thought you left because I won
Oh, no. Well, see, so what happened was I had a lag. So when she was giving the answers, you had like 2 or 3 seconds to think about the answer, and I was like,
But you answered first though.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. All right, guys. So that was the end of our game. Now we're going to get into the real topic of spreading the love and kindness through your children. Of course, you know, this month is not only Black History Month, shout out, you know, Black girl magic, Black man magic, but it's also Valentine's Day, you know, and, you know, we always usually cater to, you know, our couples and our spouses. And I thought it was very important for us to hone in on the love and kindness for our children. Our children need that love and kindness. You know, they're humans just like us. And I think sometimes we put them in the shadows because of age category or us not thinking that they know stuff that we know or whatnot. In all honesty, my 7-year-old is very knowledgeable. She's very aware, and there are some things I'm like, dang, I didn't even know you knew that. Like that's crazy. And our generation coming up, you know, they're only enhancing. They're enhancing more and more with technology and all this other stuff that's going on in the world. So with that being said, my question to you guys is, why do you think it is important for us to spread love and kindness as well? I put my input. Now I would like to know, why do you think it's important for us to spread love and kindness toward our children?
Well, I would say in a world where, how do I put it? I don't want to be politically correct, but in a world where the world is not kind to us and our people. I think that filling our kids' cup at home before they go out into this treacherous real world is very important.
Yep, I agree with you. What about you, Mr. Kevin?
The same way. Like, the only way that our kids learn love is in the household first, and there's a lot of things that you have to teach at home before you can expect them to learn it outside of the home. And I think sometimes we miss the genuine love, right? We as parents, we take care of our kids, but do we? But do we
That
love our kids?
that was a good one. We take care of our kids,
But
but they.
yeah,
I got you. Go ahead, keep
you
going.
see what I'm saying?
It
Like,
reminds
so,
me of Fences with Denzel. He was like, "Do I love you? Do I gotta like?" That takes me back to that.
yeah. And we hear that all the time. Your parents get mad at you. I don't like you right now, but I gotta love you. Or I don't love you today, but I like you. You know what I mean? But sometimes it's just one of those things, defining what love is and defining what loves look like for her, and trying to make sure we exemplify that. So when she does go out in the world, she knows what love is.
Yeah. I agree with that one.
Miss Tiffany said, I love you and your daughter's TikTok videos. Well, I had to find something, during this pandemic. I know, I've been, not doing what I need to do sometimes as a parent. And so I had to find out a way that me and her can connect. And it was through TikTok. And me and her, we find videos that are appropriate, because now my children at my school has found me on TikTok now. So Lord, pray for me. But besides that, I want to go back to what Delvinique said about how this world is, brutal out here, and how important it is for us to make sure that they are getting that love in the household. Yeah, I can see how the world that's where we're at right now. And other people, we're not the only ones who are influencing them. The world is influencing them too, and we got to be careful, and we got to input as much as we can in them, so that when they go into the world, then they will be equipped or have some type of foundation in order for them to survive.
Right. And it's a struggle sometimes. You think, I have a son. I don't know, Kevin, do you have just all daughters or a son?
Just a baby girl.
So I have a son, and just seeing everything today is just me just living my life pre-marriage, pre-motherhood. I was like, all right, sky's the limit. Now I have a son, and it's like, I want to tell him to reach for the stars and do all of this, but when he's outside reaching, he's a threat. And so it's like, I want to pour into him unconditionally, but I'm trying to find that balance of unconditional love and tough love, because we got to find that balance to prepare them for the real world, right? I can't just consistently give him unconditional love and like everything is going to be okay. And then that's not our reality as Black people.
You're not lying. I mean, even I'm pretty sure Mr. Kevin, you feel me when I say our daughters, we got to protect our daughters. It is vital that we protect our daughters, not only from the world, but from these little ratchet boys sometimes,
You already know.
And right now I look at her and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're me 10 times worse. Not 10 times worse, but 10 times enhanced. And so I'm like, okay, I need to instill as much as I can in her right now, so then she can be equipped in whatever she do, whatever consequences she has to deal with. That's just what it is.
I think I wanna interject. Don't say tough love, because we need to do away with tough love, right? We need that tough love came back from the good old days. You know what I mean? And our parents was like, you need to figure this out. Right. But I like the first one, the unconditional love. And the truth about the matter is, as you guys know, we've worked in all low income schools, and we've worked with at-risk students. And the problem with kids is, whatever we present to them and call it love, that's what they're going to perceive as love, right? And so for me, my thing, when I think about how do I want Kendall to learn how to love and love the people in the world, I try to teach her unconditional love and give her unconditional love here. So, and vice versa, when she goes out into the world and the little kid that's dad been beating them, right? Mom's been leaving them and not feeding them and not doing what they need to do. Well, she can show that unconditional love to that person. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
And that's what I really have learned how to take out of what I present to my kid, right? Lauren can tell you, I'm in a school, out of a school, in a community, bringing kids home, calling kids in the middle of the night. But that's just showing the type of person that we can be and that we should be in our household. And those are the type of examples that I'm just trying to give her so that she can figure out what her foundation is. And my goal is just to be a little bracket to say, all right, you're going a little bit too. Okay, we like them, but we ain't like them that much.
Yeah, we're going to bring it in just a little bit. Yeah, right.
I like it.
You know what I mean? So helping her learn unconditional love, helping her learn how to receive consequences gracefully, right? And the same thing with your son. Like, we don't have to be tough love in order for him to understand. He just needs to sit down and listen to what we got to say. You're right. And that's one of the biggest things as a mentor and as a mentor of young men of color. They're like, Mr. Kevin, one day, what did you do? And I was just like, I just really loved on the kid. I gave them space. I gave them time. I gave them a sense of safeness so that they can experience what love should, what we see love really being. So for me, I think that pouring unconditional love into Kendall and giving her consequences gracefully, right? One of the conversations I've been in on Clubhouse is that tough love, right? Giving whoopings. And
okay, okay, so let me hop back in real quick. When I say so we have that generational gap, right? Not us, but I'm just saying, like, my definition of tough love versus my mom versus my grandparents and so forth. Theirs is kind of like, you know better than that, the world gonna get you, Mine, I'm thinking in my son is that, like, if he falls down and gets hurt, I want him to be able to stand up and be like, I'm okay. I don't want to always rush and quote unquote coddle him in a sense. So when I say tough love, if I see him fall, I don't want to run to his rescue every single time. I want him to get up, because if I'm constantly running to his rescue, not that there's anything wrong with that, then he doesn't learn that, he doesn't gain that sense of independence or control over his environment. So when I speak of tough love, I'm thinking like minor things. I ain't talking about get in here, let me, you know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about that. So that's not me. That's not my scope with tough love. Mine is, I know you got this, you can control this. Let me give you a second to see if you can grasp the situation and then handle it on your own. And then if I see that you're not, hey, Jackson, what about, then I kind of like step in slowly, but I don't want to be overbearing. Or I see that a lot when I'm counseling parents and doing consultations. They don't give their child a chance to fail. And so when they do fail, the kids take it hard. And you see like the rise in suicidal attempts and things like that. And I don't want that. So when you fall, it's okay that you fail, but show me what happens next. That's me and my tough love. I'm not, you fail. No.
I love it.
No.
Yeah, that's my 5-second rule. You fall, you got 5 seconds. You got to make a decision. You go get up or you go lay there.
Yeah.
And if you broke a bone, you might just go lay there. And then I got in trouble. Mama ran out the door. Why my baby on the ground? She fell. Like,
what do you want to do?
Right.
What do you want me to do? All right.
She hurt. No, she not. It's just a bruise.
Look, she's acting. She's practicing and seeing.
There you go. That was a good one. Oh, Kendall. Okay. What are 3 most important things a parent can teach a child? I was thinking more so, my 3, I cheated. Okay, guys, I did cheat on this one. I ain't gonna lie on this one. I was like, oh, that's a good one. So I said, value self and others, as of course we just discussed that. Emotional development and self-discipline. So if you want to hone in on one or all of them, you can. But those are the 3 that I thought that was very beneficial. The value self and others, emotional development, and self-development. Before y'all answer, I want to go ahead and say happy Counselors Week to you, Miss Hickam. Happy
Girl, it's tough work, but somebody got to do it.
Somebody got to do it. So shout out to all my counselors out there. We love you guys. A school would not be running without you. I promise you. I don't care what kind of counseling you do in your school. Shout out to all the counselors, all the educators. Shout out to all the educators, because if some of y'all do not know, yes, I'm an educator. I am not your normal educator. 5th grade reading. So therefore, shout out to my reading teachers out there. Do y'all have any teachers y'all want to shout out? Anybody want to shout out a teacher, even though they might not see it, but we might see it? Nope. Okay.
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't know if you were talking to the chat or talking to us.
No, Miss Spaghetti's on here. Miss Spaghetti's on here. Shout out to you, Miss Spaghetti. We love you. Okay. Okay. The three of y'all see, y'all are silly. So my husband is saying shout out to the PE teachers. I'm not even gonna play on him today.
PE teachers.
I'm not gonna play on him today. Today, I'm not going to clown him as a PE teacher. Thank you so much to my husband. He is an educator. I'm going to shout out to him. He's a football coach. He does a lot for those children. He stays up late at night to drive some of them home and make sure that everybody is safe. Me and him, when we were in the school, me and him would have to, tag team on our misunderstood kids, and I just love it. So shout out to my husband. I love you, PE teacher. I'm not even gonna go there anyway, because he know what I really want to say.
Look, I'm petty. Say it.
No. Okay, and then of course, my sister-in-law says Evan Scott, the best coach ever. Yes, he is. All right, the 3 components: value, self and others, emotional development, and self-discipline. Which one?
Oh.
Oh wait, we just choosing for those 3?
Yes, or if you have your own, you can too. If you have your own, I'm okay with that too.
Well, I'll say. Go ahead. Kevin.
No, you go, because I'm still thinking.
Oh, okay. So, to out of your 3, I have my own 3, but then out of your 3, I think self-discipline goes a long way, and I think I see that feeding into the other aspects as well. Because, it's the power of the tongue and action and things like that. So if you're self-disciplined, you're able to control the narrative or the situation. So it's not what they say. It's not what they call you, is what you answer to type thing. That's what it kind of brings me back to. In regards to my 3, well, Kevin, do you want to reply to hers before I say my 3, or you want me to just say my 3?
You go ahead.
Okay, my 3, because side note, y'all know I'm a counselor, so I use this one with my my parent consultations. But I say it's like the 3 P's. So I say patience, praise, and permission. So patience goes both ways. Say the child who we know at school comes to school and we can tell, that kid just needs an extra hug or someone to listen to them type of thing because they're not getting it at home. Because in that patience, even if your child has told you the same story 11 times, and you're sitting there on your phone and you're like, and then what happened? Like, kids see that, they feed off of that. So being patient, although you've heard it 11 times, 11 times, whatever, sitting through that story like it's the first time you've ever heard it, practicing that patience, because then your child, although they know that they've told you that story over and over again, when they're in that same situation with another student or friend or teacher or whatever, they're able to sit through that dynamic. And so that's where the patience piece comes in. The permission, I'm really big on that, because it's like the era of consent and things like that. Our parents didn't ask us permission for nothing. This is my house. You do what I say.
You gonna do it
all day.
The age of that is gone. Like, you want to ask your daughter, is it okay if I give you a hug? Because you don't want some random person just walking up on her, hugging her, and she thinks it's okay.
Yeah.
Or is it okay if I sit here? Or can I have some of your, practicing that piece with permission, because it helps your kids set healthy boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
And then what was the last one? Praise. Kids don't get that enough. I don't think that you can overpraise your child, because you're helping build their self-esteem. So even if they fail at something, oh man, I admire that you actually tried. Maybe, so there's no bad way to praise. You can praise them when they fail, and you can praise them when they succeed. I think that it should be equal, because if you're overpraising for success and halfway praising for failures, then that's gonna affect your child's sense of love and self-esteem as well.
That's good.
And I didn't take my counselor hat off, but that was my.
No, because we needed that. That was really good. I'm gonna tell you one of the P's that I struggle with.
Patience.
I do struggle with the. I'm not gonna lie. It's okay. It is what it is. I struggle with the patience part. I'm not gonna lie. And I know it's because I work with kids, and so because I work with kids, I have to change the narrative or change the mindset when I get home that I done poured into all these other babies. It's time for me to pour into my own. Mm-hmm. And so I have been guilty of being on my phone and saying, oh, London, that's a good job, but not realizing that phone is taking away from a moment that she wanted from me. Mm-hmm. And so because now that phone took away from her moment, she's feeling some type of way. And that lets me know that I need to work on that a little bit more. I know that Scary is Fearless I'm good, has consumed me, but now I'm starting to schedule times when Scary is Fearless, and family time is family time. And when London needs me, she needs me. So that component piece is very important. And then with the permission part, I never thought about how, we say, go give your auntie a hug. No, that you don't need to do that, because just think about it. If you start forcing them to hug people, it's going to make, in their mind, it's going to be okay for other people to force love on them or force, emotions on them. So that's something to think about. And we do need to stop telling kids to hug people. We do need to start saying, because you can't be hugging on everybody.
Exactly.
You need to start saying, need to start asking permission, because I don't like people hugging me and they don't ask me my permission. My husband knew that he didn't know that at the beginning. He hugged me on accident and I cringed, but here nor there.
And then we in COVID, so it ain't time to hug anyway.
Air hug. Hugging husband. We in a panoramic.
I love it when they switch that out for different people. It's like,
right.
Let me look at the chat real quick. Jeannie said, thank you to all the teachers. Not everyone is meant to be a teacher. It's me. I'm everyone. And thank you, Joy, for putting the patience, praise, and permission, and Tiffany putting it on there as well. Miss Forget said, counselor, go Miss Hickam. And that's pretty much it. Go ahead, Mr. Kevin, what you got for me?
I agree with everything that you guys are saying. For me, when we started in daycare, one of the things that I realized was respect. And that's one thing that we hold high in our house. If I go get your water and I give you your water, you got to say thank you, right? Or, ask with please. And it's just basic things. Like, if we don't practice it at home, how do you expect them to go to school and say please and thank you and excuse me and all of these other things? And it's how you need to be respectful, but how are we modeling those things? And it's not just with our kid. Me and my wife being here arguing, like, excuse you, you didn't say thank you, right? So I think respect is something that we definitely have to start teaching in the house before they get to the school. That's not where they learn respect. The next thing is responsibility, right? So I don't go to school. I don't know your teachers. I don't know your counselors. I don't, that's all your responsibility. And you're not too young to handle those responsibilities because you're there and you're present every day. So and responsibility goes from step, and that's what I had to recognize. You know, I don't know about y'all. I'm a mama's boy, so I really didn't have to do a whole lot. And my daddy, I'm a mama and daddy's boy, right? I didn't have to do a whole lot. My dad cleaned the house. My mom took care of us with clothing and anything else that we need, whether it was football, whether it's orchestra, it was just taken care of.
Mhm.
But I also had the responsibility of doing my best in everything that I did. And I think that we have to start holding our kids responsible. Like, just even if they're two, like, be responsible for your toys. Clean up your toys. Like,
And your toys.
your toys, right?
London.
Listen, I cut on the cleanup song. Clean up,
And
up,
I do.
everybody. And we clean up the toys, right? So I really think responsibility, respect, responsibility are probably my two highest things. Just because with those two things, it's, you could go a long way. You can have access to groups, communities, if you just have respect and you can be responsible for yourself. The last thing is really just relationships. I think we don't help our kids navigate relationships. We don't ask them who are their friends at school. We don't ask them how their relationship with their teachers. We don't ask them how, it's just like they go to school, come home, and that's it. And so just helping them develop relationships. So she's not getting in the car and saying, yeah, Dad, this is what happened in school. Is, how was school today? How are your friends doing? Well, who is that friend? Tell me about that person.
Intentional
Right?
questions.
Yeah. So just digging in with that, those type of things that we're asking or we're expecting to happen. We can't just expect it without coaching or digging in and try to figure out how can we help our kid develop in this area. And so there's been, and we're fortunate of me doing that because we've kind of stepped in a couple of situations to learn a couple of things about some schools, some people, so I think respect, responsibility, and relationships are like three things that I really think is important to teach at home.
Look at y'all, got your P's, get your P's and R's together.
I really like that.
Look, let me tell y'all something. Maybe we all need to collaborate together and do a group. Okay, we're gonna talk about that on the side, okay?
All right.
I like that. But so to piggyback off of both of you, right? So Kevin, I really like what you said, and Scott too. It sounds like the big piece in all of us that's coming together is communication, and you can't just expect that overnight, because we have the parents that, well, how come my kid listens to you at school but don't listen to me at home, and all of that is because we're present and we communicate. We ask those intentional questions. And then it's different when the parent tries to just hop right on into that, and it's like, you asking about my friends for, you ain't care yesterday, type thing. And it's like, when you build that relationship, you start that and you're consistent with it, it's so much better, and the kids can actually feel that and understand that. And then Lauren, when you were talking about patience in London, and I know we've had this conversation before, just hypothetically, but that's where we see a lot of issues with kids who are actually hurting in silence, and they don't feel comfortable coming to talk, because when I did come and try to tell you, you were too busy in your phone. You didn't make that time for me, whether it was 30 seconds to hear a story or 20 minutes, just still being present in that moment. Because if your kid is hurting, you want to know that they're hurting so you can help them heal. And if you're not there to listen, then your kid is just out there on an island by themselves, sinking. You know what I mean? So I think.
Can I say? Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, I think, like, just to sum our whole thing up, I think the foundation of it all is communication. Everything else kind of like spurs from it.
I want to add something to the patience, because I know a lot of us are like, okay, I want to be more patient with my kid. I want to get involved. I don't want to be absent. And I think that's a lot of pressure too, because if you have a 2-year-old, they want all your attention. You want a 5-year-old, they want all your attention. You know what I mean? You got a 6-year-old, they want all your attention. Like, they just want your attention. And it's nothing, right? They're sitting in front of the TV and twirling around in circles, but they watch me. So one of the things that I've learned to do is make sure I spend intentional time with my kid, right? So if I spend intentional time, so sweetheart, we're gonna play for 45 minutes. But not just like we playing and I'm watching TV, or you playing and I'm playing a video game. Like, I'm gonna go all in. You want me to put
Tea
on makeup,
parties.
lipstick, high heels, whatever you want me to do. 45 minutes, we're gonna get it in.
Right.
But then I could say after that, hey babe, didn't we spend 45 minutes, an hour, 2 hours together? Hey babe, didn't we do these things? Okay, mommy needs a little bit of time. Daddy needs a little bit of time. So give me a little bit of time, and then in 30 minutes we can read a book, or in 45 minutes we can get ready for bed. And so now I take in that just time consuming piece, made one intentional time.
Right.
And what they don't realize is us helping them take a bath and us cooking them is also spending time together, but they don't see that. They want 100% individual time. So with the patience thing, I don't want you guys to freak out like, I gotta spend more time with my baby and I'm not doing enough with my kid. Yes, you are doing a lot, right? But you also have to make sure that that time that you want to place in there is intentional time.
And important.
I love it.
I like that. I definitely like that.
Intentional time and intentional talk. Those components are just, it's mind blowing, because with that word intentional, just like God is intentional with us, we got to be intentional with our children. I love it. So guys, if y'all did not hear them chicken nuggets that was dipped in Chick-fil-A sauce, y'all, them golden nuggets was good. And I just want to say thank you, Ashley Clark, and thank you, Joy, and thank you, Tiffany, and Miss Forget. Thank you so much for tuning in, and the rest of y'all. If you want to chime in, guys, I'm looking at the chat right now, and I'm seeing how y'all are gaining all this insight from not only me, but from the bomb counselor and the bomb mentor. Ask them.
Can I say this? I see Ashley Clark. She said, when you don't make time for your children's hurt, it shapes them as adults.
Oh, I agree.
That has been, as a mentor, as a coach, and me seeking certain rooms on these new social media sites. That's probably one of the number one issue I've heard of grown men. It's their relationships and how they were taught, or how they were treated as kids by their parents, which shaped their mindset and their thought of where they are today. And so they're having to unlearn a lot of the drama and the toxicity of their childhood so that they can learn how to love again, and they can learn how to treat other people again. So I think that's 100%, like, whatever we pour into, whether we intend to do it or not intend to do it, it sticks with them for a lifetime. So that's why I think it's so important for us to be intentional with our time. And watch this. We didn't say this, but we also have to ask for forgiveness. We also have to ask for forgiveness, because there's been some times I came home done and said something I wasn't supposed to say, and I had to go back and say, you know what, Kendall, I apologize. It wasn't you. It was something I was dealing with outside the house. Forgive me for saying that, or forgive me for doing that. I was wrong. Doesn't make sense. And I think that's how we start the healing for some of our childhood issues. So if you're in this and you're like, man, this is good, I love this, I'm gonna apply this stuff, maybe we need to start with forgiveness, right? Hey, and no matter how old they are, you know what, babe, sorry for being absent, sorry for being on my phone, sorry for being on social media, but I'm present for you now. Sorry for not hearing you before, but from here on out, I'm gonna give you space so you can talk, so you can be heard. You know what I mean? So,
and also forgive yourself, because we are all human and make mistakes.
Why are you in my head? Dang, I was gonna say that. Yes, you have to. Those two components are important in forgiveness, forgiving others and forgiving yourself. That just hits hard for me, because I remember at one point in time, I used to blame my mama and my daddy. You did this to me. You did that to me, playing victim. And you can't be playing victim. You have to really sit down and ask, why am I acting like this? Why am I allowing
my trigger?
Yeah, why am I allowing this to trigger me? And why can I not release it? And we need to learn how to dig deep inside of us and find out, what do we need to do in order for us to really have peace within that forgiveness? How can we gain that peace? Well, you just said it, by ensuring that you dig deep in yourself, being self-aware, and also learning to forgive of those past hurts. Because if you continue on going on with the past hurt from a child to an adult, you're going to carry that over to your children.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
hey, y'all,
important.
that's where generational curses come from.
Hey, guess what? Should parents reflect on how to discipline their children by looking at what their parents did in the past for better results?
Okay. Time out. You know what my biggest pet peeve is with this whole scenario is there's always that one person that says, my parents beat my, and I turned out all right. And I'm sitting there in my counselor seat like, but did you though? Why are we here today? You know what I mean? Like, let's be transparent. Our parents and grandparents did what they were taught because that's all that they knew.
Yeah.
We are in a new like my husband says all the time, there is no excuse for ignorance because there is so much information out there for us to change the, you know, like. So yeah, sorry, I'm gonna hop off that little high horse, but that's that one pet peeve.
We need to talk about this.
But this is because we're being fearless, right? And in order for us to be fearless, we got to get the full understanding of it. And so I've been gracious enough to connect with a homeboy, DJ Inspires on Instagram, and he's a foster kid who grew up in a foster system, and he also experienced trauma as a kid, and it was by whoopings, right? And so we had to have a real, because I was that. I'm sorry, D. I was that person. I was like, I got beat. Ain't nothing wrong with me. Like, I'm okay.
Your beat, and then somebody else's beat is like, you know, like there's levels to the beatings. We all got whooping stories for days now.
Right. But watch this. He changed my viewpoint when we started really digging in the history of the whooping, right? The history of the whooping is something from slave trade. It's something from slavery. It's beating them into submission so that they can do and be fearful of you. And I know for us, we were like, you know, you want your kid to be afraid of you so they won't step out of line, right? And no, but not by whoopings, right? Because whoopings have been historically, and so it's a challenge to change our way of thinking and to figure out how to better discipline, because that was one of the things for me was like, I didn't want to whoop Kendall because I got whoopings till I was 21. Like,
hey
man, Miss McGinnis don't play. I walked in from UNT and she was like, you made a C, bloop, 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 bloop. I was like, come on, man.
Wait a minute, it was a
grown man. But watch this. But I think that the hard thing about discipline is the consequences part, right? Because you have to start developing what consequences are going to go for what thing that they did. So if it's not a hard consequence, well, what are you going to do? Well, I don't know what I'm going to do, you know, because I've never had that example for. So when Kendall was in Montessori, we did Love and Logic, and Love and Logic taught, oh man, I love Love and Logic, but Love and Logic talked about discipline and consequences, you know, and so the consequences have to fit the right offense. And sometimes we go straight to whoopings, you know, we go straight to poppings, and I call them poppings because I ain't finna sit here and bust a sweat whooping you. Like, I'm gonna give you 2 licks. It does. It takes a lot of energy to do a whooping. But we gotta be able to start understanding what are consequences, what type of consequences can we put in place. If you're angry and you're looking to discipline your kid, tell them, you know what, I'm not going to deal with you right now. Go to your room, give me all your stuff, and when I decide what we go do, then we'll have a conversation. But we don't have to jump in as soon as something happens and go to 10. We need to be able to step back, take a breather, figure out what the consequences is going to be, and then implement the consequences from there. I like Love and Logic because they say make them sweat, right? So they say, hey, we're going to handle this, but we'll handle it when I'm ready to handle it. It could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be 2 weeks from now. But that's the cool thing that I loved about it. Just putting them, because honestly, my child doesn't hate getting in trouble, right? So as soon as she knows that mommy and daddy is upset, she got tears running, and we're like, what's wrong with you? I just want y'all to scream at me.
That's for her daddy.
But that's because we changed the way we discipline. We changed the way that we want to get her attention, you know, and make sure that she understands what she did wrong, figure out why she did that, and then what can we do to make the not go down that road again. And it's not going to be perfect, you know, they're going to fail. They're going to fail again. They're probably going to make a mistake again, but then we just got to make sure that we're doing our part to really train them up to be a better kid or a better student.
Right.
Do you know what
Phil,
okay.
From Fresh Prince. That's that Uncle Phil logic from Fresh Prince. You got the James, you got the Uncle Phil.
Yeah. But I was also thinking about how, because this is my favorite TV show too, My Wife and Kids. Like, instead of him disciplining them and whoopings, he would find ways to like, and I loved it. I'm sorry. And that's why I got my stuff from, because I said the first party that London tried to sneak out of, I promise you, I'm putting on some short, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna take Edmund with me, and we're gonna be like, hey, this is a party. We're loving it. All right, I got it playing in my head. But anyways, I feel like, yes, that we do need to find different approaches to find the consequences to the action. And I also feel like, and this is just real, people like, well, y'all be treating them like the white people. No, there's no such thing as a black or white discipline.
There's a such thing as trauma and toxicity. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. And so you're going to have to realize that you can find ways to discipline your child without putting your hands on them. And I have learned how to do that. It took me about 2 years to do it, but I have learned now, okay, you don't have to whoop your kid all the time. First of all, you're going to mess that girl head up. So what can you do in order for you to ensure that this is the consequence to your action? Let me talk to you. Let me tell you why this is not this is a poor choice.
Communication.
Yeah.
That's very good. And I think sometimes we don't even think about it though, to be honest. Like I didn't think about discipline until one day I was gonna whoop Kendall when she was 2. And my wife was like, "Don't whoop my baby." I was like, "Okay."
Daddy's whoopings are worse. I don't care what you say.
They are.
Discipline.
My daddy
But
hit
it's
me.
like 2 years old, right? But we have to, as a community of parents, we have to understand nobody knows how to parent, right? It's something that we grow into, not something that we have a kid and we know what we're doing. And so when it comes to discipline, I want you to ask yourself, would you want to be treated that way? Is that what you like? So as you're punishing your kid, is that how you want to be treated?
Right.
And if that's not how you want to be treated, then let's start from there. Okay, so if I was in this situation, how would I want to be disciplined? If I was in this situation, and I think sometimes too, some of the situations that happen with our kids, we forget that we're kids, right? We were kids at one point. We made dumb decisions and dumb mistakes, and so we have to pull back and be able to say, okay, how well can we handle this situation outside of just corporal punishment?
And you also got to look at the kid, because what's good for one is not good for me. And my brother had 2 different punishment styles, you know? So like what hits me and to the core is not going to hurt him. He'll be like, okay, take the car. I didn't want to go out this weekend anyway. Like, you know, you have to figure out what works for your kid and go from there. So I totally agree with you. But once again, the baseline is what? Communication, because you can beat your child all day and they're not going to understand why you whooping them or what they did wrong. They're just going to see you, fear you, and avoid you. And worst case scenario, when they get older, they're going to go and seek that type of beating because my dad was supposed to love me and he showed me he loved me by beating. You know what I mean? So,
well, you know, we got that statement.
Yeah,
we got that statement. I beat you because I love you. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I did
all the time.
Yeah. Tara,
like you do. Feel like it. You know,
Sarah said,
love will hurt.
Sarah said, I agree in letting them know that mistakes are going to be made. And Ashley said, they don't know they are wrong until you tell them. Explain to them it's wrong and give them a better solution. We are to teach, because we are. My child is my teacher sometimes, and I'm the student, and vice versa. So it's just like, you know, being a teacher. We are learning constantly. We are learning how to deal with what we need to deal with and come up with a solution together.
How do you feel about that quote? It's circulating on Facebook. It says we have to learn to forgive our parents because they were learning too. Like, how deep does that go for you? You know, like, are there some things that are just like unforgivable? Like, as a parent, I would never. And then you find yourself in that situation. You're like, well, will I? Like, when they say you have to learn to forgive your parents, regardless of what they did, because they were learning to, because they were first time parents and didn't understand, like, where's that level of forgiveness when it comes back to things like that? Do you realize that, oh, this was toxic and let me stop before I do it to my child? Or has it happened that you did it to your child and then realize, oh, that happened to me, I didn't like it? You know what I mean? Like, how do we approach that type of situation?
Well, for me, I mean, I didn't just stop at my parents. I went back a little bit further, and I would listen to my mom and her sisters, and how, you know, they would say different types of things that were going on in their household. And it made me realize, okay, that's why my parents did what they did, because of what they saw in their household. So because of what they saw in their household, it transpired over. Not everything, because the things that I have heard, it is crazy. And so it wasn't as bad, because my mom had always said, I don't want to be like I don't want to treat my kids the way my parents did. And she didn't, but there was some components that she did carry over. And now that I have put all of that together and analyzed that, I can wholeheartedly say that, of course, just for me, I can wholeheartedly forgive my parents because of me going backwards and then going forward. So that's how I went along with why they did what they did, as far as discipline wise, or why they did what they did as far as showing me to value myself and value others.
So you put yourself in their shoes and empathize.
I feel the same way. I think it took for my mom. Mama, if you on here, hey, how you doing? Good to see you.
Hey,
anyway, but for me, I had to, as an older person, understand like what really hurt me. Does it make sense? Like I said, mama's boy, I kind of had some things like we were very well taken care of, but there were some things that are triggers now, you know, and now that there are triggers, I had to go back through and say, you know, when she's promised me this and didn't give it to me, I got to forgive you for that. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, I think we're laughing, but I think that's trauma. I think that's, you know, kids asking for gifts from Christmas year after year, and you keep telling them they go get it and they never get it. You know what I mean? Like, or I just, that's the way my mind thinks. Right. And especially when I think about young kids, it's like those are little triggers, because now I have trust, you know, not that I do now, but you got trust issues now, you know, you can't trust the person that's supposed to take care of you in certain ways. But then I had to realize my mom grew up a certain way as well. And she is who she is at this time, but I didn't have a platform to advocate for myself at that age. Does it make sense? I didn't have you know, and that's what love looked like for them. And that's why I say sometimes we have to step back when we say, how do we love our kids? Because if a kid grows up in a toxic household, that toxicity is love until they grow up to learn that's not what love really was. Does that make sense? And so we have to go back and find a way. Is it hard? Absolutely. Forgiving anybody is hard, right? but I think right. But I think if anybody is becoming a parent, that's a process that you have to start going through, but you go through it as you become a parent. Does it make sense?
Yes.
So when you recognize some feelings and some things that you know come from your past, or you're like, why am I acting like that? You take a step back and you look back at your life, and you don't even have to physically call your parents and be like, you know what, you beat me, but I forgive you. You're not like, you could at least start with.
I'm gonna call my mama after this, Kevin, and tell her exactly that.
I forgive you.
Mama Kevin said I had to forgive you for whooping.
Yeah.
But sometimes we could start back at just forgiving them in our heart and our mind and our soul first. You know, forgiving them because now I just accept my parents for who they are, and I love them for who they are. And I think it's unfair sometimes to say, how someone should look at their parents, because they're the one who had to grow up with that parent. And so they have
We
to
don't know what
work.
the parent went through to get there.
Exactly.
Right.
So they have to get to a point and level where they recognize their hurt and they recognize they need healing. And once we get that recognition in, then we start the process of forgiving. Because anybody know, come on, counselor, talk to us. It's a process. It's not something that you be like, I want to forgive them, and you're gonna forgive them tomorrow. It's a process. It's something.
And
that
you're
you
gonna
have to work on.
backslide. You're gonna backslide. Something's gonna trigger you, and you gonna remember what happened, and it's gonna.
Come on, wait a minute. Time out. That's gonna be my eyes. Time out. Come back. Oh, but yeah, all of what you just spoke on was really great. I really appreciate you guys. One more thing, and then we're almost out of here.
1 second. Can I speak to this?
Go ahead.
Ashley said, I'm not all the way there just yet, but I'm on my way. That's definitely a process, and I'm 31. Ashley, don't even put an age on it.
Me too, girl.
Like, don't put an age on it. Like, it really doesn't matter. The beautiful thing about it is that you just started the process. And as long as you started the process, that alone is, there's tons of people who are afraid to open that chest and afraid to dig through that closet and afraid to deal with those demons. So you just starting that process. Whenever you're ready, just make sure you continue to get the help. Yeah, just whenever you're ready.
There's a lot of people who can't even do that. And you think about your parents and your grandparents, they're from that generation of feelings. We ain't talking about them.
Yeah.
You work hard, you got a job, you breathe, and you good. Like, so it's all a cycle. Just do what you need to do to heal so that you don't hurt your kids the way that you were hurt. Break the cycle there. As long as you're trying, that's all that matters.
Yeah. And the first step, you just acknowledge. You acknowledge I'm not there yet, but you're going to get there.
Or just acknowledge that you're trying.
And that you're trying. Yeah. Because as long as you were trying and you're trying to get that, find that peace that you discuss on our group, you're going to get that peace and you're going to gain clarity. So I pray that you find understanding. I pray that I speak that you are going in the right direction of forgiveness. So, fearless woman, you got this. You trying and you are acknowledging. So thank you. And thank you for being vulnerable enough to tell us that, because it takes a special person to be authentic and transparent in what they're doing. So I'm going to say this because it's faith. My fearless woman is faith-based. Y'all, please pray for my girl. Please pray for Ashley Clark. I speak nothing but peace and understanding in your life, girl. You got this because you are fearless. Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna have me shouting over here. Okay, so the next piece is this. What made you guys who you are today, and what journey are you on right now?
Ooh, you gonna have us ending real deep today.
Oh yes, oh yeah. Disclaimer. Hey guys, this is the next segment where we become fully vulnerable. We take that mask off, and there's a no judgment free zone in the Scariest Fearless Woman and Man. See, I'm gonna have to put man on there now. Put the men in there. But this is a no judgment free zone. Whatever they say. And also, if you got something to say, you can leave it at the door. Okay? All right. Let's go. Do you need to hear the question again?
Yes, please.
Okay. What made you who you are today, and what journey are you on right now?
I could go. For me, so we just got through talking about reflecting back on our parents, right? And so for me, I credit it to my dad, because when I sit down and I watch him, he's funny as all get out. He's a loving person. He's a caring person, right? And I didn't recognize how many of those traits. Let me be real with y'all. I didn't recognize how many of those traits I had until I listened to a podcast I recorded, and I listened to my laugh, and then I listened to my dad's laugh, and I was like, that's definitely my dad, right? But what I recognized, not only did I take his traits on being a loving, kind person, I also took on some traits of my mom of caring for other people, right? So what I recognized over the years was if I was your friend, you was my brother. If I was your friend, you was my sister. It wasn't, I've never just had friends. I always noticed that I wanted to build a family and love on these people consistently. The problem was I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have someone on the outside who said, Kevin, that's who you are. You need to stay in this lane. You need to develop. You need to be a counselor, a speaker, a communicator. So when I went to college, it was just like, hey, I don't know what I want to be. I'm just in college. You know what I mean? I just want to graduate. But I take all, and that was an extra piece, right? So I knew I love people. I knew that I was a loving person, but then I didn't have anybody guiding me to be the best that I could be at an early age, which then in turn turned me to becoming the mentor coach, because I was like, dude, I can't let these young men go to college not knowing who they are and what they want to be. I can't allow my young sisters to go to college and not know who they are or what they want to be. And so that's what created the passion and the fire inside of me to be who I am today, so that I can continue to make sure that I'm working towards helping people be what God created them to be, because my parents allowed me to be that way. You know, they allowed me to do whatever my heart desired. And it just so happened I love loving people, and they didn't mind me having all these people in the house.
Right.
Hey man, after football games, we didn't have like the whole football team.
We got a big table for 22 Kevin and brought the whole team home.
So that's kind of what made me who I am today. And it was the passion of really wanting to help young people define who they are and seek their careers in their strengths and not their weaknesses or opportunities.
So what journey are you on right now?
Oh, so the journey I'm on right now is building up other influencers and building up other community organizations, and help pouring into them to be great organizers and great community leaders as well. So for me, I'm not 40 yet, but I'm ramping up to ready to pour into other people, if that makes sense. So I've done the work for 12 years. And I just want to take everything that I've learned and everything that I've grown from and everything that I am, and find other people who are hungry and pour into them and help them be successful, and not necessarily be out there doing the groundwork of connecting the youth and mentoring the youth.
Beautiful. I love it, Mr. Kevin. Like you just make me so happy. Like I'm bubbly inside. And I know if I'm bubbly inside, your wife has to be more bubbly. Like I know your wife. Shout out to your wife. Okay. All right, Miss Hickam, what about you? What made you who you are today, and what journey are you on right now?
Oh girl. In honor of full transparency, what made me who I am today was a series of hurt and hangups, but they were not acknowledged.
Yeah.
So in a counseling sense, I would say that I was suffering in silence, but projecting the person that everyone wanted me to be. And so I was constantly living with the mask on. Oh, she's the athlete, and she's like, the straight A student, and she's doing good, and she got to be happy because, she got everything, type thing. And then it wasn't until recently that I was able to like sit back and be like, is this what I want to do? Or is this what I'm doing because I feel like I was expected to do it? So I went through that like whole phase, and who I am today is, I can honestly say that I am who I needed to be when I was younger. And so now I'm pushing forward and wanting to be that for other people, whether it be other adults or whether it be other kids or any, teenagers, people in between. What I lacked, I realized and acknowledged that. And it was in no part or no one else's fault, because my parents always said, girl, do what you want to do. I don't care if you want to shimmy down the side of a building or, build sand castles for a living. I don't care what you want to do, as long as you know that you want to do it. And normal people are like, all right, cool. But me, I'm internalizing no, because in my head, success looks like this. And I have to do this because my parents want that. And the entire time they talking about, no, child, do you want to do this? Do you want to play soccer? Do you want to go overseas? I'm like, I don't know, do y'all want me to? I was always doing something for somebody else and not doing what I wanted to do or knew what I wanted to do for myself, because I was so engulfed in my idea of what I thought people's idea was for me to be, if that makes sense. It don't make sense, but it makes sense.
No, that makes sense.
So
that makes 100% sense.
So I was like, so over these last couple years, I've really been like, what do I want to do? What have I always found myself in a position doing? And even as a kid, I knew that I wanted to help people, but I didn't know in what capacity that I was going to help people. I used to say, well, I know a lot of people who do wrong. Let me be a lawyer so I can help them do right. Or I want to be a doctor so I can save people. I didn't realize that I needed to be a counselor. I wanted to be a counselor. And then I started reflecting, I think, in one of my master's programs, they were like, write about the person who influenced you to be who you are, or, what you were missing. And I was like, well, I want to be a counselor, but when was the last time I had a counselor? Like elementary school, I don't remember having a counselor. Middle school overseas, I don't remember having a counselor. My first counselor was a white lady in high school in Fort Hood, Texas. Didn't have a teacher of color until, I had one early elementary school when I lived in Waldo, Arkansas, but from then, hadn't had a teacher of color, hadn't had a counselor of color, a principal of color, no one in education or that community piece in color. And I'm like, well, how does that look to our kids? What are they going to strive to be? The person who's a teacher, or are we looking at, we always see the administrators of a certain race and, whatever. And then we see just the teachers or the support staff or things like that. There was nothing to strive for. And so I thought, like, what can I do that's going to be in a place where I can impact as many lives as someone at the top, but still be amongst the people in between and below, And so it kind of led me to be a counselor. And then now I'm in the process, like, branching out and advertising more and things like that with Hickam House and social emotional growth with students and parent consultations. And I don't know, I'm just like that voice of reason to them because I didn't have it. But I mean, I think I answered your question. So still, I'm on the path right now to self-discovery or self-discovery, because I was who I thought people wanted me to be. And now I'm unapologetically me. And it's a process too.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh. I loved your journeys and I love you guys' story. It was so beautiful. Thank you so much, Delmonique, for being transparent. You too, Mr. Kevin. I really, really appreciate you guys for tuning in and coming in. If people would like to reach out to you, how can they reach out to you, Mr. Kevin?
Hey, man, the best way to reach out to me is on Instagram at The Mentor Coach. It's The Mentor Coach, all one word. So check me out on The Mentor Coach. And if you DM me, I'll DM you back and we can chit chat and figure out how can I help and support you. And then also, I know this is for my fearless women, but if you got a fearless dad over there, I have a dad podcast called Dads on Purpose Podcast. Dads on Purpose Podcast. We release every Friday. We have topics specifically that we think about as dads, and we just have like a barbershop talk, and we enjoy the ladies chiming in, putting in reviews of what they thought about our topic. So those are two ways that you can get in contact with me, is on Instagram at The Mentor Coach, and then on the Dad Podcast. Make sure you just check us out on all platforms.
Beautiful, beautiful. What about you, Miss Delmonique?
You guys can message me and follow me on Instagram at Hickam House. Surprisingly, I am booked for the month of February with tutoring and parent consultations. I know it hit me quick. I wasn't prepared. But always reach out to me that way in the same hickhamhouse@gmail.com. And I mean, I'm here for you if you have questions for academics as far as like student support plans and things like that. You're not understanding what they're telling you, or mentoring or anything like that. I'm available. So
there we go. And guess what, guys? I just got my cards. Can you see it? I am the founder of the Scariest Fearless Woman. I am a resilience consultant and a motivational speaker, you guys. You may email me at info@thescariousfearlesswoman.com. You may also hit me up on Instagram at LK Scott Fearless. If you want some laughs, you can hit me up on TikTok at LK Scott Fearless as well. I also have a Facebook group called The Scariest Fearless Woman, where we inspire and empower women to speak their truth and be the fearless woman that they are meant to be. I am also a blogger, so if you want to look at my blogs, you may go to www.thescariousfearlesswoman.com. I am manifesting what God has me to do. I am firmly in the foundation of Christ. So motivational speaker, resilience coach, consultant, let's go. This is the Fearless Friday chat with LK Scott, Delaney Kickham, and Mr. Kevin, the mentoring coach, tuning in. Not station. Tuning, signing out in 5, 4, 3, 2,